Since May 26, protests and riots have been going on for several days in Minneapolis, Atlanta, as well as here in the upstate. And the topics of racism and police brutality are at the forefront of these events. But do those who aren't protesting, who are just observing or listening, do they get to speak? Black Lives Matter! Protesting comes in several forms, says therapist Cynthia Smith, and there's no perfect one or reaction to any of them.
We can't stand in judgment of others who may want to handle this situation in a different way, right? Because we're all going to process it differently.
For some, protesting happens through social media, and for others, social activist Tracy Fant says it can be talking to those around you.
Is there a time and a place given today's situation? Like, is there a censored time?
Now is the time. Every time is the time. Whenever the conversation comes up is the time.
Organizational development firm founder Jessica Sharp agrees, adding that silence on this issue of race, especially in the workplace, is no longer the answer.
We've got to begin to have hard conversations. And the reality is those are hard, right? And, none of this work is easy. But, it is required, it is necessary. Black folks cannot be the only ones having this conversation.
While the conversations are necessary, there is a danger of running on raw emotion.
When it's this issue about race and injustice, we have to be very careful that we don't target our coworkers with that anger that we are feeling towards something else. So we have to be very mindful of when we are communicating that person we are communicating to, most of the time, is not the person that the anger should be directed at.
Some may not agree, and things can turn ugly. But the solution is simple.
They are calling you a racist, or they are saying that you are on the wrong side of history, or whatever the case may be. It's best for you to take a step back and really think about, I don't understand the cause. Like, I don't understand where this person is coming from. Let me just take a step back and just release it. So, because I don't want to escalate it. That takes an empathetic way of dealing with it.
But those who agree and want to help make change, but don't know where to go or feel like they don't belong, can know that they are welcome and have to be willing to learn.
It's not a specific race that makes you an activist. It's your heart for the people. It's your heart to do the right thing by the people. And it's knowing when to step in and when to step out.
If you've got Black friends that you're really close to that are on your squad, on your team, have conversations with them, but don't just go to random Black people and ask them questions. Learn first, and then begin to have conversations that combine your thoughts and feelings and your education. So you may go to someone and say, I might get this wrong, but here's how I feel. Here's how I feel watching these things on TV. Here's how I feel experiencing this part of the world, and here's what I know based on my research. So let's combine those things in order to act differently.
For Fant, actions like joining the protests in Greenville are her responsibility.
It's no longer my responsibility to end racism. I no longer feel responsible to do that. But what I do feel responsible for is the young people that are out there this weekend who are marching, and who are rallying, and who are protesting, and who are afraid, and who are angry, who are upset, who are having anxiety attacks. That's what I was responsible for.
That call to responsibility can explain why the death of a Black man in Minnesota caused an uprising across the nation.
The hate and the injustice, that is the energy. And anytime that is created, we feel that energetically. So that's why when it happens, and it may not be in your area, when that energy of injustice and hate happens, it hits us in an emotional way, and that invokes us to want to do something.
My hope is that there is something different. There's a difference now that we can utilize to move forward and to have action.
Sharp says action in the form of fair hiring practices, including people of color in leadership roles, having diversity trainings and departments. And though Floyd's murder wasn't in South Carolina,
Zachary Hammond was here. Jermaine Massey was here. Walter Scott was here. It has happened here.
Tatiana Cash, 7 News.